I have very, very high anxiety, and the dogs relieve that like immediately for me.
When I'm working with the puppies, I feel calm, I feel relaxed, I feel love.
Dog owners, or more broadly pet owners, have better cardiac regulation, better lower baseline heart rates.
In a sense, they're really helping you when you're not even realizing it.
I feel like when I'm with the dogs, that defensive barrier comes down and I'm able to feel the emotions that I've suppressed for so long.
And the dogs make all the difference in the world, and they do it without medication, they do it without other stimulus, and they help the veteran heal.
Using the dogs in therapy provides an additional outlet for veterans that another human being can't provide.
And they have an inherent ability to assess and evaluate human beings without bias, without an air to race, gender, or if you're missing a limb, if you're badly burned.
The dog doesn't judge. The dog doesn't care what you have done, or maybe what you didn't do, that maybe you should have done, who knows? The dog's just there, and sometimes that's what counts.
There's this bond, a connection with these dogs that they just don't seem to be able to make with other human beings, especially when they come back from their deployments and post-traumatic stress.
A veteran struggling with PTS can rely on a dog. A dog can provide a base of reality. It can provide a place of safety, a place of harmony.
If we understand why so many veterans are so in love with their dogs, it may tell us more about veterans. It may open up other avenues of treatment.
I have a Vietnam vet who, through the use of canine-assisted therapy and being paired with a dog, has gone from being chemically dependent on psychotropic medications to being completely off of them.
Paws for Purple Hearts is very unique for 3 reasons. Number 1, we will not charge a veteran one single dime or their family. Other organizations will sometimes charge you upwards of $25,000. We are free of charge to the veterans and their families the entire time they're working with our program. Number 2, we do what's called canine-assisted therapy, also known as canine intervention therapy. And that's where the veterans themselves will train the dogs alongside our professional trainers. For a veteran who wants to alleviate their survivor guilt, there is nothing better than training a service dog to help a fellow veteran.
Working with the puppies and knowing that they're going to be future service dogs to fellow service members brings great pride to me. I feel like I'm at service to my country and my brothers at arms.
The dog is the brother in arms that they are going to work with to then help the next brother in arms.
We in the Marine Corps, we call it the esprit de corps, and that spirit is missing for us in the civilian community. But with a dog, we can have that all day, every day.
And then number 3, we do provide those service dogs to those veterans in the end. The next thing, though, is the therapy dogs. The distinction being that an assistance or service dog is one that will go with a particular individual and be their 24/7 companion and assistant throughout their lifetime. Whereas the therapy side, or a facility dog, will have multiple individuals that they will visit with, and multiple individuals may come back and visit with them, and they partake in the therapy. We are looking at a very specific type of dog with a very specific skill set to be able to help with some very specific challenges that are very unique to the veteran community. One of our goals is to get the base commands into the dogs at an early, imprintable, formidable age. So by the time they're about 4 months old, they will already have had about 100 base commands mastered. We can actually get the dogs to well over 200 plus modified commands based on the veteran's particular needs.
I think it's a great organization. I think the people that are involved in it are very passionate.
Paws for Purple Hearts is a well-organized, well-oiled machine that is getting the job done. And the job they're in is to find the right breeding, the right dogs to provide a healing companion for veterans.
Rob's case was almost an all too common situation. It was essentially a cry for help, but it was manifest in trying to kill himself slowly through drugs and alcohol. And Rob damaged his body and his self and his soul, and I think he didn't feel a lot of self-worth until he met the dogs, and one in particular.
Ollie is his name, and he's a golden retriever, 7 years old, and we've been together for 6 years, and he's the most wonderful dog there is.
The bond between Rob and Ollie is unique.
He's changed my life dramatically.
There's obviously something special. I think Rob feels that Ollie has some things that are imperfect about him, having lost an eye to cancer. I think Rob feels that he's an imperfect person, and so therefore they're perfect together.
All the love in the world. I'd give my life for him because he gave his for me.
Ollie does for Rob what no other human being could have ever done. And it restored his faith in this world. It restored his faith in his spiritual faith. And I think it restored his faith in humanity. And I think it's ironic that it takes a dog sometimes to give you your humanity back.
There's no question that Paws for Purple Hearts has an important role to play moving forward, learning more about this both in the clinical realm and in the scientific realm.
I believe that it's a privilege to be here and work with these dogs, and I don't take it for granted.
For us, it's no dollars, no dogs. Without a doubt, we live off the graciousness and generosity of the individuals, but one of the things that we're always going to need is that huge corporate sponsorship, somebody who will take us on board so that we can have a predictable sort of revenue stream, that we can continue the expansion. Right now we're at 5 facilities nationally. We'd like to be at 30 facilities nationally. At 30 facilities, we would probably be able to cover about 80% of the United States veterans living within a 2-hour drive of our facilities.
The dogs will never cease to amaze me, but veterans who have literally been debilitatingly symptomatic can come out of a shell. I am amazed every day by the gains that my clients make and how fast they make them when working with canines.
I've seen a huge change in myself as well as my peers and the staff here. They've seen me almost make a complete 180 from when I first stepped through the doors, and I believe that the dogs have helped with that tremendously.
We enjoy seeing every one of those veterans basically blossom and emerge from a very dark place, and the dogs seem to be the ones who can lead them out.